cutting my dad's hair. It's been very long. Sorry, Dad. I'll show you. I already started. But here we are.
Cutting off all the gray.
Yep.
You look like a young man.
You will. Not sure if I ever talked about cutting my dad's hair before, but it's kind of a thing that I've done for a pretty long time now. I don't remember when I started, but he used to cut my grandpa's hair, and then when I was pretty small, my grandpa let me do his hair, and he had like barely any, so I couldn't screw up really. So that's kind of where it started. And then my dad always cut his hair, and then when my grandfather passed away, I started cutting my dad's. So it's pretty cool, like a random little thing. Probably my kids will not be cutting my hair, but they might cut Matt's. Stay tuned for many years from now. I don't know. Olive loves watching Ricky eat, and he growls at her when she gets too close because he thinks she's gonna eat his food, but really, the kibbles are too big, and she's not interested. Ha. Ha.
Hey everybody, done with the work day. It's the weekend. Friday is officially happening. Not that it wasn't earlier, but it was work. Now it's party time. Doing something new tonight. I'm going with my dad and family friend to a dirt track up north, Lernerville Speedway, up northern, a little more north in Pennsylvania, north of where we are. I've been trying to go for a few years. It's my first time going to see the dirt track and the cars that race. It's also my first time going to anywhere and sitting anywhere with a stand or grandstand or bleachers, since probably we went to the Elton John concert in November. So that's kind of different. Not a lot of that happening right now. So kind of also going to see what social distancing's like, masks, if people are wearing them, how many are there going to be. Kind of don't think there'll be a lot, but we'll see. Taking mine. So we'll get the scoop there and kind of see what that's like at sporting events now, because that's what this is. So going to check that out. First, I'm going to eat dinner. Then we're going to be heading out. Yeah, first time at Lernerville. Woo! 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 Go watch some dirt racing.
Get birdie.
All right, he brings them into turn 3 and 4. We will go green this time by. It appears that jump the cushion.
That's not supposed to be there.
Turn 2. Starting 18th is the 5 Ryan Sarver. 32
You need to join in the glasses club. It's too dirty. right, we're home from the races. It was a good night, lots of fun, good to get out. We'll talk about it a little more in a little bit, but I'm coming in the garage because I'm covered in dust. This hat, I know it's dark, but this hat is blue, and right now it's red. And half of my body is covered in red dust. It's really hard to tell, but I'm covered. You can kind of see it. Whew. So, took a shower before we left, and I'm going to hop in again. So, I feel disgusting. Alright, I'm showered, feeling much better, clean, just hanging out for the rest of the night. Talked about the race in a little bit, but first, since it is Friday, and we were doing our Keep Your Local Brewery in Business Friday back in quarantine, even though quarantine's still happening, but it's kind of different. All the breweries are still open, and all the breweries are doing just fine. We don't need to do Keep Your Local Brewery in Business Friday because we're all doing just a good, fine job of that anyway. But we can still do, like, New Beer Friday, right? Everyone's here for New Beer Friday. Anyway, I got this beer a little while ago, and it's Friday, and I'm home chilling, home from the races, and I want to try it out. When we went to Fury Brewing, Chris and I did, we were talking to the brewers there and the bartenders, and they were telling us about the stout they had, but saying, you got to wait for this stout that's coming out because it's even hard for the bartenders to get, which piqued our interest, and it was an Oreo stout brewed with real Oreos, tons and tons of real Oreos in the process, and they said it's so good, the pre-sale goes instantly, and we're like, well, we got to try that. Well, a few weeks ago, maybe 1 or 2 weeks ago, I saw on their Instagram that they were releasing this beer that they were talking about, so I had to get some. So I pre-ordered it, I went and picked it up, and I got it. So I'll tag the video when we were at Fury Brewing Company, because this beer is from Fury. It is called Double Stuffed. It's an Oreo stout, Oreo milk stout.
I'm excited.
Yeah. 12% alcohol. All right, and it's got the fancy wax cap lid on top of it. You just peel the wax off. So it keeps it sealed fresh. But yeah, it's a big bottle. I got two, one for me, one for Chris. And I'm super excited to try it after it was highly recommended. So I will break open the wax, figure that out, and pour a glass.
Fill me up.
I think just cut it, right? Like right below where the cap is.
I have no idea.
And then the wax will just peel. It's like a maker's mark or something, right? Mm-hmm. We just need to get to the cap. Oh, I smell it. I opened it just a little bit.
You smell it?
Yeah, well, I broke the seal a little bit, which is fine because I'm opening it. Mm-hmm. But oh my gosh, this is like
college trying to open a wine bottle with
like
a knife.
Brain surgery.
5 hours later.
I got it.
Wow.
We're good.
That was an experience.
I need my Great Lakes Brewing Company bottle cap opener.
So fancy. Does it smell good?
And because it's a stout, we're going in the Guinness stout glass with the parrot.
It's a good one.
Ooh,
Can I smell
definitely
it?
smells like an Oreo and a stout beer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I want to say funky, but usually funky means bad.
That's gonna be delicious. It's Coca-Cola for New Beer Friday, the new inaugural tradition that can happen any Friday we want from now until undesignated time. Also doesn't have to be every Friday.
There you
We'll
go.
figure it out.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
There's a lot of Oreo in that.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, the video the post they shared was like literally.
There was just, like the top layer was just floating Oreos.
Yeah.
It's
Literally.
a stout, it's a milk stout. It's got like the little bite to it, but not a lot. Just the right amount. And the aftertaste is definitely Oreo. I'm trying very hard to not be like, ooh, that's good. Because
Like I
apparently that's how I rate everything.
Well,
But yeah, it's very delicious.
Interesting. My turn.
Yeah, it was worth the wait. You gotta try some.
Okay, it's my turn to try the Oreo beer. Let's see.
So good.
Ooh, you're right. It has like,
I am right.
wow. It has like the aftertaste of Oreos. That's fancy. Milk stouts are weird. I think Matt said this before, but it's weird in the summer. I usually like them in the winter, and they're hard to drink, like many of them in a row. Not that I try to do that anyway, but they're just thicker. So it's weird to be in the summer, but it's good.
Yeah, it's normally like my winter beer.
It's definitely interesting. I can see why the bartenders have trouble keeping that.
Yeah, the taste is stout, the aftertaste is Oreo, and it's a lot of Oreo. It was definitely a good find. All right, so it's the next day. When I got home last night, it was late. It was like 12:30. I took a shower. April fell asleep. I went out to talk to her and fell asleep. So it's the next day. But last night, Lernerville Speedway was a lot of fun. We got there. It's in Sarver, PA, about an hour north of us. Parked, and there was a long line to get in, and that was partly because what they were doing was they were filling out COVID-19 release forms. I took a video of it. I didn't get a chance to fully read it, but to enter and buy your ticket, you had to sign it. They were taking temperatures in that there was a big circle of tables with one guy in the middle with a temperature gun, and was trying to like shoot people as they were signing their papers. Mine was 97.1, I think. Whether I was actually 97.1 or my arm was 97.1, I don't know.
What was your temperature?
97.3.
Mine was 97.1.
What were you?
97.
Oh, hey, you win too.
It was a little interesting. It was kind of like temperature roulette, I think. But we had to sign the form to get in. When you go in, there was full bleachers on the main strip, on the main front stretch, and they were pretty full. Last night, I would probably say the attendance was probably what it would have been like the same night in 2019. There was a lot of people. There was way more than 250 people, which is supposed to be the outside max limit for people. Maybe the waiver is what got around that. Not a lot of people wearing masks. Very few, actually. We wore them to move around. When we sat, we were able to sit at a distance of at least 6 feet away from everybody around us. That was good. So as the night went on, people thinned out, and you know, we took our masks off and we were able to sit there together because the three of us had, you know, been together for a long time now at this point. Conditions aren't super favorable there as an outdoor event for avoiding large crowds if you don't want to, and I don't know. There were times where I felt fine and times where I felt a little sketched out, but that's just the nature of what the event is. As for the race, it was a lot of fun. They do heat laps and qualifying laps at the beginning. There's 4 main groups. They call the Fab Four at Lernerville Speedway. They start with the big block modifieds.
He's got it pointed, ready to go. 25 laps.
The 410 sprint cars, which are my favorite. They're the ones that you see with the big fins on top, like the World of Outlaws. They have late models. And pro stocks. Full dirt track, probably about a quarter mile. The turns in the back straightaway have big open dirt patches past them, and a lot of times you'll see cars maybe fly out on turn 2 off the track, pop back in on turn 3. I almost want to race that way. Sometimes you'll see them going into the turn because the way that you have to turn on the dirt is you're constantly drifting around the turns. some guys will lose it and have to bail and go off the track. We saw 2 sprint accidents yesterday where guys rolled their cars. They were fine, but they had to tow them. It's kind of interesting how they have to tow them. They're so light, they basically just lift them up into the air and haul them back to the pits.
We call that a Pennsylvania pinata.
Did he bust his suspension?
You said it, you hit the nail on the head. AJ and Jack both leaded this run tonight. Both of them were up the
But everybody was fine. Everybody was good. It was a good, safe night. We didn't even get out of there until about 11:15 because there was a lot of cautions and a few reds. One of the modifieds or the pro stocks almost caught fire. That was fine. It was wild. There's a reason they call it the action track, and it was definitely lived up to the name. It's been so dry recently with the weather that assumedly dirt track, it's just clouds of smoke. There were times where the street stocks or the modifieds were coming out of turn 4 and there was so much dust being kicked up you could hardly see the car coming onto the straightaway. And if they even went off the track at all, off onto the berm, it would kick huge plumes of smoke. I don't know how the drivers are seeing coming out of the turn, but it's impressive. But by the end of the night, you're covered in dirt, your seat's covered in dirt. If you stand up, you can see where you were sitting. So, I mean, it's great. It was definitely a lot of fun, a good old Western Pennsylvania dirt track night. We had a blast. I would love to go back. There's another track near us, near the cabin, Jennerstown Speedway, that I think is about a half mile. Maybe a little less, but it's asphalt, and they do a lot of big races up there too. Next weekend they're doing one called Motor Mountain Masters, I think, and they reopened that track maybe 5 or 6 years ago now. We used to go a lot when I was younger. They reopened that track, and they're starting to get a lot of good races too, a lot of big races. The race next week is going to have a ton of cars. I don't know if we'll make it to that, but it is a lot of fun going to local racing in Western PA. It's like a great night to go. Maybe you get a snack, something at the concession stand, go watch some racing, just hang out. It's good. And like I said, last night we were able to socially distance a little bit. Wore the masks when we needed to. So, I mean, that was pretty good. But you know what you're getting into when you go to something like that. It was nice to be able to go to an outdoor event for the first time in a long time. So, I had a lot of fun. It's Saturday now. We got some plans today. There's some fun things happening. So I'm going to sign off, say see you later, and till tomorrow.